everyone, and welcome back to the Silicon Nubian web channel. In this video, we're going to do something special. Previously, we had tested this Linux distribution. We had kicked the tires and see how it works. This is Elementary OS version 0.3 Freya. One of the claims to fame of this Linux distribution is not only the beauty of it, but its ability to run in low-end hardware. So we've gone, how low can you go with the hardware in this system? And this is running on real hardware. This is not a virtual machine. Here we go through. Let's start our first application, which will be Chromium. These are the specs. Semperon 2600 plus, older second socket 754 motherboard, 768 megabytes of DDR. There we're pushing it a bit. 80 gig old Western Digital slow hard drive, ATI 9500 Pro AGP video card, and a 3-COM 10100 NIC. Here we see that Chrome did take quite a while to start, over 10 seconds. That being said, I'm not going to fault the system. This is the first time post-install that Chrome was selected to run, so that may have affected it. You know, first runs are usually not the fastest. But from what we can see here is surfing with Chrome is pretty effective. This is Canada.com's website. At the time, they were quite slow, even on my i7 based system. So I'm not going to fault this system for this. Of course, surfing will be a little slower. Pages will render a little bit slower. Here we go back to the applications menu. Everything's working fine. Libre Office. On most platforms, Libre Office is a fairly heavy application, and we would expect it to bog down completely, or some would, in this low spec machine, but it doesn't. It actually started up fairly decently, and when we go to select to start the writer, it started very nicely. Very, very good. So far, if I might be premature in saying this, but it seems to me that even with this low-spec hardware, this Linux distribution, that being Elementary OS Freya, would be good enough to use for single tasks. At this point, I'm a little very skeptical if I would multitask with different windows open and whatnot. Here we're going to start the video player. Now, it's taking a while to start, but I kind of understand why. It will load the last video that I played, which was actually a previous video to recording the whole desktop. And there we go. While you may see top running, it's actually a video that was done prior to this one of my earlier takes. Here we are, we're reducing it, and we're going to get out of that so the video player does work. And while the video was playing, it was actually quite smooth. Going through the applications menu again. Let's hit the terminal and let's start top for real. Here we are. Right away we're noticing that we're RAM starved. 700 and some odd megs of RAM just isn't enough. Over 90% of it's being used, whether it's being cached or actually used for applications. It just shows that we're operating near the limit, and the swap file is being used a lot. Well, it's not a massive swap file, but still, it's being used. This is the biggest thing in this system. I would tell you that, once again, it is RAM starved, but it's still very functional. Let's check the hardware out. It's going to complain about wanting to run the super user. And see what's actually in the system, once again, as it's reported to us via Linux itself. I find that a lot of people will review Linux distributions, but they won't put Linux to the test. A lot of different Linux distributions, and another one I'd like to put to the test is LXLE, which claim to fame is running in much lower hardware, and I'll probably do that next. Because a lot of us have little computers or older machines sitting in the closet gathering dust, and this is a good way to bring them back to life. Here we are, AMD Semperon 2600 plus. Wow, socket 754 people, single core, middling performance at most, very poor performance compared to even today's CPUs. 3-COM, 10 base T, 10 line, that's interesting, 10 base TX, 100 base TX, sorry, if I read that properly. That's not exactly a gigabit NIC. We're talking older everything in here. But you know what, old VIA technologies, devices on the motherboard, it's working fine though. Here we're going to see something. We're going to start the software center. It is taking quite a while to start, and the software center, out of everything I've tried here, even Libre Office comparatively speaking, the software center was a little frustrating. It starts up. Of course, I know it has to go out to the net and pull down a bunch of information about you know, the latest offerings and ratings and whatnot, and it is updating what's available. Here I tried the multi-pane view, go back, and I may have overstressed the system. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, Software Center is having an issue. Okay, and here we are. It's not responding. We'll force quit, but let's try again. I'm a glutton for punishment, especially with trying on such a lower than low spec machine. Here we go. Starts up a lot quicker this time. Of course, once again, we get the spinning icon, the wait, I'm doing something icon. And we'll see what's happening. It's downloading a lot of stuff in the background, I believe. And Software Center should run normally now. Obviously, I wouldn't want to wait like this with every application. It's unfortunate that an app like a Software Center seems that it takes a lot longer than even starting up Chrome or Libre Office. But then again, you wouldn't spend that much time in there, and you would not exactly install a lot of software on a machine like this. It just wouldn't make sense. One tool per task. You know, you have your web browser. Here we're starting Midori, which is the default web browser for Elementary OS. And it displays the page actually very fast, maybe even faster than Chrome. Midori, of course, is very lightweight, but it suffers in that it doesn't have as much support for plugins and whatnot, and there we get searching for multimedia plugins. So all in all, I would have to say that the experience with this OS in lower end hardware, very low hardware, is functional. Not absolutely satisfying, but very functional. And I think if you would go to a Core 2 Duo or a Pentium D, just make sure you have at least one, preferably 2 gigs of RAM in there. And your experience will be a lot better than this, a lot better. I did try with 512, it just wasn't making it. 768 is barely enough as well, but I really wanted to push the limit. Again, we went, how low can you go? Just checking out a few more options and whatnot. See what's going on. Things seem to be working pretty well. Again, throw enough RAM at this and even a Semperon will be functional. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you look forward to having you for the next one.